Good afternoon from babyP TV. Wishing you all well today. Sending loads of love your way as usual. And have a great live last night. God bless you all for participating. Get very fast in there. Questions coming thick and fast. Soon I'll be in a position where my mind can answer absolutely everything. Trust me. But I hope your week's going to go the best it possibly can. Now, brought to my attention by you ladies is Yami. You're always talking about male prisons and notorious male criminals inside and outside jail and the dynamics here and the dynamics there. What about us females? Because there's quite a few of you that watch me as well. Well, hey, we've had it planned for quite some time and obviously good form at the moment. I touched on this really sad state of affairs kind of story, but these two ladies will possibly be on my show and they're probably legendary names down there in Liverpool, I'm afraid, for all the wrong reasons from living that life that many of us men have lived. But like you say, we haven't heard it from the ladies' point of view and the stuff that they've gone through and the part that they play with the men or on their own to get their money or live that criminal life, or the ones that have suffered domestic abuse, real horrendous domestic abuse. Now, the two ladies in question, I'll describe them as sisters, Kirsty and lovely Melanie as well. Both of them are suffering bad in later life. It's worth stating that, and they will be coming on to share these stories on babyP TV, and you know that as well. Now, Kirsty was in a seriously domestic abusing relationship. Her man was battering her, right? She was young at first, had one relationship. I think this was her second one, or it might have been the husband. Either way, I'll get more clarity on that when we talk to her. And he was beating her up very badly, and the police were called a few times, did nothing back then. Now they probably jump all over it with the stuff that's coming up. Mind you, they're still letting people go now to go and commit crimes after bailing them and that kind of thing. But anyways, different subjects. But Kirsty was getting serious beatings. Police were called, hospital. Melanie says to her one day, listen, don't keep letting them put your hand on you. You're not no punch bag. Fight back, man, and stick up for herself, because she wasn't really getting the help from anywhere else. Her story's deep, man. She fights back one day. He starts hitting her with a bat, right? She's folded over, but manages to find the strength, right, to kind of overpower him or after you finish kind of thing, pick the bat up. So scared, fearful, hit him with the bat, right, but didn't kill him. But just trying to get away from him, the fear factor and blah, blah, blah. The police are called. She ends up in prison, Durham prison. Now, a little joke that I hear from ladies' prison, not the first time that I've heard it, that you get called you get called a male name instead of a female name in there. Like, her name's Kirsty, she was getting called Kirk. I'll leave it up to your imagination as to what that actually means. Now, a first encounter with two of the most notorious female prisoners of all time, Rose West and babyP, right? Now, remarkable difference to ladies' jails and men's jails, because Rose West figures and babyP figures couldn't be on normal location in a male environment, right? Simple, plain and simple. We've gone into some of those subjects on babyP TV, but in a ladies' prison, exercises real power and dominance over everybody else through the notoriety of their crimes, and really not the kind of crimes accepted in male prisons. Let's be straight about this. But she had that personality, Rose West. Don't come to me, don't talk to me. So Durham, we look at it, high security women, probably a category A. Rose West has to be escorted everywhere in handcuffs, right? So she goes down to church and whatnot, sits in between two scrolls. Very difficult to get to her, but prison officers, I hear, turn a blind eye to some of her wicked ways, that she could get away with it. And they were absolutely terrified of her as well. Worth pointing that out, right? So Kirsty's spoken to her a couple of times now. Rose West was meant to have been a great cake maker, right? So she probably scored a few browning points that way, share them out like people do in prison. But also using the Christian fellowship. Fair to say, and I've got 3 or 4 witnesses to this who were there in Durham at that time. They describe it as complete bullshit by Rose West, that the do-gooders, probably genuine Christian people, feeling sorry for her, feeling like she's been manipulated by Fred West, a man, and to be led into the crimes that she's done. But it's interesting that while I was doing time all them years, when I first saw the pictures of both of Fred and Rosemary West, I often believed, and the way that Fred killed himself as well, not Fred's just as bad, obviously, but for some reason he took his own life, but I always believed that she was the dominant feature in that relationship. And the descriptions from those female prisoners about her lead me to believe that I was right, and that many of us might be right, just on the way that she carries herself. So she's using a Christian card, that kind of thing. I'm hearing Kirsty and a couple of us days saying that she used to get presents like bouquets of flowers, like she was the goddess and the queen of Durham. What a position and powerful position to be in for a lady that's done the things that she's done. Um, so that's a little bit right, but she's going to come on and tell her story as well. But the staff play their part in these things as well, which is quite remarkable as well. Now, the babyP incident is that another frightening looking lady figure. Don't come near me, I'll fight you all off. I mean, think about it. When I know Kirsty and Melanie and them other ladies, I'm thinking in a street fight, in a row, back in the day, they would have done Rose West and babyP in a straightener. Can't see them two getting the better of those kind of girls. But it's a different subject. Maybe it's the fear, innit? So they used to say in Jamaica, duppy know to frighten, like certain people you're frightened of, like that other people ain't, kind of thing, that we see right through it. But it's the way it goes sometimes. Now, babyP, she was sitting next to her, didn't know who she was talking to. So that when she finished talking, another lady came up to her and said to her, don't sit next to her. She's evil beyond belief. You know who he was just talking to? He was just talking to a lady that put a baby down the chute. Can you believe that? Face turned purple, Kirsty, very pretty, good looking and all that. But yeah, very, very, very sad story. And ladies, I'm sorry it's taken me time to bring this kind of stuff to the table. But ultimately, these stories, as sad as they are when they come up, and they keep each other company, Melanie and Kirsty, throughout all their domestic problems and not much family, all alone in the wide world. We know what that feels like. We'll be doing more talks on this soon. These stories will help a lot of ladies to resonate. And for ladies that don't know what it's like for females living the life that some of us men have as well. But the tragedy that in later life, men can seem to come through a little bit better from a lifetime, because we're all about the same age now. But women end up with all kind of traumas, conditions, physical, mental, medication and that kind of stuff. And both Mel and that wealths of experience and knowledge from that life, and certain big names too will bring it to the table. And ladies, yeah, I will be doing more of that. Of course, I've got Trace the Face as well, whose story is very, very powerful. I'm going to get round to all that. I can't bloody wait. So no, ladies, I've never been neglecting you, but your time's coming now as well. So hopefully when I move in a minute and go somewhere else, we'll have some more content on the board. Loads of love, but very, very sad.